Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I want to talk to you about two comments from a recent video. These are critical comments about the game Splinterlands, speaking to its longevity, speaking to the fun and the accessibility that the game offers or doesn't offer. And I want to speak directly to these two commenters in the hopes that I can provide critique on their own criticism in opening up that dialogue and discussion so that the broader audience that's listening can maybe see both sides of the conversation. Let's get into it. Before we do, my name is Dwayne Cunningham and I go by Infidel1258. You can just call me 12. Any questions, comments, drop them in the comment section below. Leave your IGN so I can send you a thank you afterwards. And let's get into it. So I recently did a video called the greatest problem in Splinterlands, and it's getting quite a bit of attraction. It's nice to see. Thanks guys for the comments, for the likes, for the views. Appreciate you. I did get two critical comments. I haven't read all the comments, but I got two at least that were worth diving into. And I got one here from David Prendergast, and I got another from Zed Bishop. And I say Zed because I'm Canadian. But let's do David first of all. He says, well, before I read that, the content of this 8-minute video is that I'm articulating what I view the biggest challenge for people getting involved in the Splinterlands is, and it is the bottleneck created by summoners. In this game, you need summoners. You need high-level summoners to climb the ranks, and that means that that is the one card you can't do without. You can choose to buy a tank or a different tank or one splinter or another splinter. You can choose to buy magic monsters or archery monsters. You cannot choose to ignore summoners. You have to pick at least one if you want to climb the ranks. And if you want to climb to the highest ranks, you definitely need max level summoners. As a result of this one fact, you and everyone who ever plays this game is going to require some amount of summoners. Now, the game gives you level 1, but if you want to get better at the game, you have to buy higher ones. This is a problem in that it creates a bottleneck. These cards always go up in price. And interestingly, I just did a interview with summonerlab.com, Moowave, the creator of this tool. And interestingly, you can go back and you can look at, specifically, you can look at summoners. Is that the summoner total? I think so. Yes. There we go. So I'm looking at a summoner tab. This is a great tool, guys. Summonerlab.com. You click on summoners and you can look at whatever edition you want. Let's look at beta for the sake of argument. Alric Stormbreaker. You can only access yours if you're logged in. Okay. So I'm not logged in currently. But look at this. We can see the price appreciation that's gone on in this thing, and it's only showing me back to September, which is just a few months. But he has data for up to a year. So if you want to get a paid subscription to Summoner Lab for $2 a month or $20 a year, paid with Hive or DSC or SPS, I think you can get really amazing data. But picture this: it goes flat down here, and my point is, summoners always appreciate in value. This is an old example, but all the new ones are doing the same thing, and I believe they're following the same protocol. So what does that mean? It means two things. One, you need summoners to ascend in this game. Two, summoner prices are going to raise. So that's a problem for you if you are reluctant to spend money, but it's a benefit to you if you understand the opportunity in front of you, meaning these cards are going to appreciate. Maybe acquiring some of them makes sense. And this is an old example, but you can go over to your, peak monsters. You can see all organized by summoners also. And you can see the newest ones are $2, $2.50, $3, $4 per BCX. Very reasonable, in my opinion, to acquire 5 of these or 10 of these for $2. Because 5 of them is going to put you at that high bronze threshold. 25 of them is going to put you at that high silver threshold. That's not a lot of money. I mean, let's be honest. You really need one splinter to succeed in silver. I think you could do that for a couple $100. And most games these days cost $100. And this game pays you to own it. So that's the summary of what we're about to talk about. But I want to now that's my argument. What I just shared with you. It's like there's a problem, but it also represents an opportunity. Summoners are a bottleneck, but you can take advantage of that. This game isn't free, but it does reward you. That's my argument. And I want to read you to 2 comments where people are pushing back on that sentiment, because I want to unpack and respond to them. So David Prendergast says, I'd say the biggest problem is that for the average Joe who has a full-time job, a girlfriend, a gym habit, friends, etc., it isn't realistic to find 5 hours every 2 weeks just to battle out of bronze. This really sucks if you have to put a few grand into it. Who wants to spend a few thousand to place the same boring levels every week? I can't see how people who aren't full-time YouTubers or crypto heads with passive incomes will be attracted to a game that essentially leaves you stuck in low levels unless you want to find way more free time than you actually have. There should blatantly be a way for people who have bought in with a decent wedge to be able to access higher levels without having to battle up every other week, like a minimum level you can be demoted to or whatever. There has never been another game in my life where I've been happy to play the first few levels over and over again, which is what happens if you take a month off. This makes me bearish on the game. I would otherwise be very bullish on. Consider selling my investment because I think others who want to buy in realize the similar. Okay, so first things first, I want to address the last sentence first because it's the easiest. He says, I feel bearish. I'm thinking about selling. I would say to David, none of what I'm about to say to you is intended to convince you to stay. If you feel that if you do not agree with my basic thesis on this game, then you should sell all of your assets. My basic thesis with Splinterlands is that it is fun and rewarding. And when I talk about fun, I mean that I get entertainment out of it. I play it regardless of whether I get rewards. I have for years. When I talk about rewarding, I mean it's giving me trivial amounts of rewards that I believe will be worth quite a bit over a long enough time horizon. That is founded on, by the way, we need to say, that is founded on the idea that I believe in both the development team and their vision for the future. So if you think this game is fun and rewarding and you believe in the vision for the future, then I think you should be invested in this game. I think you should play the game or possibly even buy assets. But if you disagree with that thesis, then you should absolutely sell everything you've got and you should do it now. I think when we talk this through, I probably am going to make some compelling arguments that are going to maybe make you rethink some of this stuff. But if you don't feel, I don't speak these words to try and convince you. I speak these words to unpack my view and butt heads with a competing thesis, a competing idea, because I really love engaging in thought in that manner. So stick around if you're interested. And if not, others, hear me out. So let's see. The biggest problem is that the average Joe who has a full-time job and lots of responsibilities and hobbies can't spend 5 hours every 2 weeks to battle out of bronze. Well, why not? I have 2 children. I have a full-time job. I have lots of hobbies. I work out. I have a wife that I love. I lead a community group. I do different philanthropy stuff in my own personal time. Everybody has this idea that your life is uniquely busy is something that this is like a tale we tell ourselves in 2022. And maybe it's before that. Maybe it's always been the case where people talk about how busy they are. I think it's really important to understand that everyone is busy. Your life is full, whether you choose to sit in a chair reading a book and ignoring the world, or whether you choose to walk out and engage every moment with every person. You will fill the hours you are allotted with either good things or bad things. And you might leave this conversation saying Splinterlands is one of those bad things. I don't want to. I'm not gonna. Totally okay. Again, not trying to convince you, just trying to talk about these things with you. I would argue, though, that this sense that, you are uniquely busy is something that people say these days, and I would argue is not genuinely true. What we mean is it's hard to do all the things that we want and feel relaxed and feel, that we have the energy that is left over to do the basic stuff like cleaning our house and taking care of ourselves. The problem, I think, if we're more intentional, we're going to find those times. If we use scheduling, we're going to find those times. If we are deliberate about of cutting away things that are meaningless to us, and maybe this game is one of those things for you, then you're going to find those times. And I would encourage everyone who's listening to think about that thoroughly. That's not a Splinterlands piece of advice. It's just life advice. There are things in your life that are dead weight. If you recognize that, put that thing down. And then you're going to have more attentiveness, more opportunity to enjoy those things that really lift you up. And sometimes you need to do things that are difficult, like work, but this is not work. If this isn't fun and rewarding to you, then you really should walk away. Now that's one point of this here, but I do want to agree though that it does take time to climb out of bronze, and you do get reset. So that's a criticism. That's a fair criticism. It is annoying. When I play a champion, I get set down to diamond level 1. That's super annoying. I have to fight through a bunch of people that are really talented, that are going to end up at the highest levels of champion, and I have to fight through them, which is hard. And sometimes I get bumped down to gold, and that affects my daily rewards, and ultimately it makes the grind very arduous. But I would argue that that's just a part of every competitive rank battle game, whether it's this or Overwatch or, you know, even Diablo has rank. Every game that is multiplayer has some element of this rank component where you have to fight through tiers and you get reset at the end of seasons. So while you might find it's too much, I would argue that you're not going to find any other game that avoids that. And then he says it sucks if you have to put like a few grand into it in order to do that sort of level of grind. I don't think that's true. If you put a few grand, quote unquote, a few grand into Splinterlands, I think you're going to be playing at gold or diamond. In fact, I've done recent videos saying that, you know, I can tell you right now, going over to Peak Monsters, I have various accounts that I use scholars out of. This one has 230,000 collection power. And that deck is worth $4,000. So that if you put $4,000, you could have 200,000 power. This one's worth 300,000. This one's worth $3,500. This one's $4,100. So roughly for 4 grand, 3 to 4 grand, it's pretty. I feel 100% certain you can get a diamond level deck with 200 to 300,000 collection power, depending on which card you buy and how lucky you are playing the market. So is that cheap? No. I'm not saying 4 grand is cheap. What I'm saying is, you said if you have to put a few grand, you're going to still be fighting in bronze. No, you're not. No way. No. You'll be fighting in gold and diamond. Who wants to spend a few K to play some boring levels every few weeks? Well, I don't agree that this game is boring at any level. First of all, I think bronze is a challenge. I think silver, gold, diamond, champ, they're all different. They're all a different challenge. They each have their own unique hurdles. And so I would argue that I find the game entertaining at every level. Again, maybe we just have to agree to disagree. It feels as though you don't really like the game and you were hoping to maybe make some money with it. If I'm wrong there, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to think through your position. And the words I'm reading make me feel as though you don't really find this game fun, but maybe you thought the opportunity was worth investing in, and now you're feeling bored by the experience. If that's true, I'd love to see your comment below. Or if I'm wrong, even, I'd love to see your comment below, because that is feeding into my understanding of what I'm reading here. Maybe you just don't like the game experience, and that's fair. If that's so, again, that would be grounds for me to leave the game personally. But as I pointed out in this video and in others, I've played the game for 3 years because I do like it, not because I thought it was going to make me rich back then, but because I like the game. I can't see how people aren't full-time YouTubers or crypto heads get attracted to this. And you know, he goes on to say, it just takes up too much time. There should be a way to stay at higher levels instead of having to grind up again, like a minimum level you get demoted to. There is that. Like at the end of every season, whatever level you are demoted, whatever level you are playing in, if you finish in Gold League 3, you get your season rating resets to 1200. 1200 is a Silver League, I think. Yeah, it's this league right here, Silver 3. So I think you get bumped down 3 ranks. So if you make it into gold, you're not going to fall down to bronze. And so if you in fact spend a few $1,000s, and if you in fact are playing at bronze, it's only because you bought certain cards that were really expensive, as opposed to a multitude of cards that were really inexpensive that are going to give you that CP. which is always my advice. Buy more cards, not certain expensive cards. Buy more cards because that gives you more CP, more options, and allows you to play at higher leagues and get more rewards. So I think you might be buying the wrong cards. I think you might be playing in the wrong league. I think you might not be playing the game enough to really get yourself to the level where you're going to feel satisfied with the rewards and the caliber of resistance in your enemies. So that's my view on maybe what you have to say here. I really would love to hear your response. And again, I didn't say this, but I hope it's clear. I am not trying to personally attack you at all. I love that you've dropped this comment and you've given me something. Given me meaningful resistance to push against and have this interesting conversation. And I think people in the community are going to enjoy this conversation. I really do appreciate it. And you didn't leave your in-game name, but please do. And I'm happy to send a thank you for some DEC for something like that. Thank you, David. And then second, Bishop here says, honestly, a little concerned about the sustainability aspect of this game due to this. He's talking about the fact that the summoners are a bottleneck. If someone has to put in plenty of money into the game, but there's no way I can go past silver, I like the idea they have with the starter cards not giving rewards, but really they should expand this much larger amount of cards. I would love to play a diamond level, even if I can't get full rewards. See, this is kind of the problem though, Bishop. And again, this might sound very critical. I just need to speak clearly. I'm not trying to be rude. This is the problem. People want to receive reward from a game in the way that you receive rewards by playing Mario, Super Mario. Think about a game like Super Mario or Diablo or, you know, Fallout, whatever game you've ever played. When you walk through the world, you collect currency, you collect coins, gold coins or dollars or whatever, some sort of bottle caps. You collect something that reflects money in the game. And people have this idea that that's when you spend time in the game, you should get that in-game currency. Splinterlands and blockchain and NFT gaming is not the same thing at all. This is not free to play. And if you can play it for free, there should be almost no incentive to that. And more than that, they really need to create a system that deters that sort of play and then invites people who are curious about that game at that level to step into a deeper commitment. Why? Because it's great that we invite people into the game by, hey, check out the game. You can play with these free ghost cards. It's $10 to start. The starter deck gives you these basics. You can get a flavor for it. But then it needs to be, okay, do I like this game or not? And if I like this game, I'm going to let my free cards accumulate. And I'm going to buy some free cards every now and then as with the DEC that I'm earning or credits, as it were, and reinvest into that and then grow what I'm doing. But the implication of your statement is that you just want to be able to play at a high level and receive some amount of reward. But that's never been the promise of this game, and it never will be the promise of this game. In fact, I think I can say with confidence, they have been explicit about the fact that they do not want to ever offer what you're requesting. They don't want to create avenues for people to step into deeper or higher level commitment for the game without financial investment. That is the whole thing with NFT gaming, where the cards have utility. Part of that utility is that they unlock higher levels and tiers of play. So I really don't believe that it's ever going to be available to you. But I would also encourage you to say that you don't need to spend plenty of money to play into past silver. You need to do one of two things. Either spend probably $500, which to me isn't lots of money. It's maybe to you it is. But $500 to $700 is going to get you into silver. I've showed that time and time again. I have several videos on that. If you want, you can look through my catalog. Second, if you just commit your time to this game, if you start playing today and you do so every day for the next 4 years, I'm confident you'll be in silver by the end, or even gold maybe. I don't know, but silver for sure in 4 years' time. And that'll have been almost for free, but for your time. So the investment of time is going to generate those resources. It's going to get you some daily chests. It's going to get you some season rewards. Occasionally those are going to be cards. Occasionally those are going to be really meaningful. Often they won't. They'll be trivial in nature. But as I've said 1,000 times, these rewards are always trivial in nature. But then time goes by, and because of their deflationary nature, they appreciate. And then that's when opportunity for you can open up, where you flip one card that appreciated wildly into new cards that haven't. And then I just want to finish on one other thing. You say you're a little concerned about the aspect of the game, the bottleneck around summoners. But here's the thing. Recognize that this game plans to and has always released new summoners in I think a well-metered fashion, which is to say that they give some every year or every other year, which gives the opportunity for newer players to come in at a lower price point. You're going to lose some of the utility that you maybe had with the beta monsters or the promo summoners or the, you know, untamed summoners. You're not going to have access to those anymore, really, because those prices have gone up. But now today you can get Chaos Legion summoners for, like I said, $2 per unit. You need 5 to play at high bronze. That's $10. That's not a lot of money. And if it is a lot of money, again, there are different people in the world that is a lot of money. It's not a lot of money to me. And I would argue that that doesn't mean you need to be a whale or anything. I would argue that means that you need to understand what NFT gaming is. It's not traditional gaming. So guys, that's all I really wanted to say. I love the comments, guys. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless.